Well, we've decided to top our onions and take the roots off. It's only been 8 days since we put them on the drying rack, but here in Arizona, with the temperatures in 95 to 100 degrees the last week, and the breeze through here, it's dried the onions well. We think that 8 days is going to be just fine. You'll have to adjust to your area. If you're in a more humid area, you will need to leave yours longer. Notice we have them on this rack. You can see a little sun on them this morning, but it's 6:30 in the morning and 66 degrees, and this amount of light it gets for a half hour, 45 minutes is nothing, so it won't harm them. But so now, Sherry, pull it out, and we'll look at the backs so that you can see how dry the back side. Remember, now you'll see some sporadic green ones. Those are not, you can't wait for everything to be completely dry, but that won't hurt, and we could use those first, whatever. But look at overall, if you remember how green they were when we put them in before, and now here they're very well dried. So what we're going to do is have Sherry remove some of them. We'll start at the top. We'll move them over onto a table and start. Well, this is trial and error, and so we've made lots of errors so far. We'll clean those up in a minute, Sherry. Just go ahead and.
They're dry.
Yeah, they're dry. We don't like to drop them like that because they'll bruise, but this one, just take smaller groups so you can control.
Oh.
And this is the first time we've used this dry rack. If you've seen others, we had them on tables, but we like this a lot better because the air can circulate underneath. So just take some off the bottom. We'll get that other, if it's easier for you to reach. The problem is they dry so well that some of the tops break off. What we're doing is just taking them off from here, putting them over on the table, and then we'll show you how we top and clean them up. We're not going to show you the whole rack being done, but this will give you an idea of how we do it. All right, so that's all right.
I can get those.
Just you get those later. So we take and just little clippers and cut off the top about. We leave about 1.5 inches or so on the top. Trim off the roots, and we'll clean these up better later. We're not going to worry. You notice that some of the leaves are drying. So she'll take off what's easy to get off. You don't want to rub them hard. They're still drying. So we rubbed that, cut the top, did you?
Yep.
Okay, I missed it. As I was saying, we take off anything that's loose, but we don't rub them hard because we'll let them dry for another week or so on the rack just like this, and then we'll come through and we'll show you that we will rub off any roots or leaves that are loose and put them in bags for storage. So she's just building up a little supply here. We want to fill up this bucket, and so we're going to weigh these just to see how many pounds we got this year. We think this is about the best year we've had because the onions overall have been much larger this year. than other years, and we credit that to the fact that we planted them 2 to 3 weeks earlier, about the middle of November, and before it had been about the first week in December. So about 3 weeks earlier this year, and the longer they're in the ground that you can leave them, the bigger they get, according to Dixondale Farm. So we agree with that this year so far. These things have just been, just look how big they look in their hands. Then we'll show you some others that we've shown before, but we can't believe those, how big they've gotten. So I hate to bore you with this. It's we'll only take you through this one batch, and then we'll do them all and show you what the total was. It's pretty simple. Again, just don't over rub them. Take off what's loose. Leave about 1.5 inches on the onion to dry. That will shrivel up. And we'll take, when they dry another week out here, we can just rub the rest of those roots, they'll just come right off. So almost going to sleep here while all this is taking place. We're getting a little pile over here. Here's the 4 giants that we've grown. We're going to weigh those individually here in a minute just to see how much one onion weighed that is that big. We got some pretty good other sized ones over there too. Pretty good sized ones, I should say. We're not sure how many it'll take to fill this bucket that we got, but we're going to get enough that we can do that for sure. Well, Sherry, yeah, that's enough. And even if it doesn't fill it, it won't matter. They get the idea of how much it is. Okay, showing now, we turn the scale on. We already have the bucket on, so when it zeroes out, that includes the weight of the bucket. So now just start adding. These are in pounds and ounces. Just take another, and if you've got it, or two to kind of. I want to get it so where it's fairly even or close to an even weight. Okay. Well, that's close enough. It's 15 pounds, 13 ounces. So we'll call that.
Here. That help?
No.
No. I can take it out.
Add another one. 16 pounds, 14 ounces, so we call that 17 ounces. So anyway, take that off now. Well, here's our finished project, at least for a week or so. We've got them all topped, the roots taken off as much as we can at this time, and so we have we got 6 racks. They average almost 40 pounds. We got 236 pounds of onions, and we had over 30 that weighed a pound or more. Take the big one, Sherry, and let's show them. This is the biggest one that we had. Put it on. So there it is, 1.64 pounds, and now take the circumference.
Alright, let's get it up here. You can see it. Where do you want it?
I want it where you were so I can move.
Oh, okay.
The trouble is I can't see the end.
Oh.
Anyway,
It's position
it's
again.
14 and 3/4 inches. It's actually 7/8, so that's the biggest one we had. Several that were very close right in there, and you can see them scattered all over through how big they are. But anyway, we'll be done for now. We'll wait another week, maybe 10 days, depending on how long they dry. It's supposed to be over 100 this for next week, so they may be done soon. Then we'll add to it and show you how we put them in our bags. Well, it's been 8 days since we topped our onions and put them on the rack. And here in Arizona, it's been about 100 degrees in the shade, which we have had them in the shade the whole time. And they have dried really well. So, Sherry, show them how we determine that
dry.
part that was wet when we cut it is now very soft and dry. So we'll just rub off whatever comes off easily, and we'll just put a bunch over here, and then we'll show you how we bag them. But even some of the bigger ones have got big soft. You can just feel it. It's dry, and
Go down to here.
so anyway, we won't bore you with more of this, but we'll show you in a minute how we bag them up. Okay, we've got one of the racks cleaned off as best we can, and it's here, and we're going to now put them in the mesh bags that we get. Show down with your hand, huh? These we got on Amazon, and show them the one end that's sealed. They come like this, and the one end is sealed, so then we just open it up. They're mesh bags, and I can't tell you how much they were. We've had them for a while. So we just use them like this, and now just fill one up and show them what we're... So we fill a bag pretty full, and then we'll, when we want to use these, we'll pull them out at the when we need it. Now notice that she's tying it so that it's kind of like a slip knot that not doing too good with those gloves, but it's hard to tell. But so I'll just pull it and show them. So all she has to do is pull it like that and then take it out and do it. So we don't have as many to put it in, or we won't have as many in bags this year. They'll all be in bags, but they're so big that we're not having so many onions. But so she's just going to put them over here, and we'll set them aside, and then we'll show you some of them when we're through. But that's the process we use. We just bag them up like this. We do reuse the bags unless they have a hole or something in. So she showed you a new one, but we reuse them. It's not a big secret, just putting in mesh bags that they breathe well. And then we'll put them in our extra refrigerator out in the garage, and we set that refrigerator to about 50 degrees. It's not as cold as a regular refrigerator, and yet it's cool, and they'll last until next season. So a good 10 months or so they've lasted. So hope this helps you to understand how we grow our onions and take care of them and store them. A lot of people like to store them other ways, but they just don't last near as long as they do if they're in a cold storage type situation. And then we just pull out one bag at a time and use it whenever we want, or if we want to share with some other people, we can just pull it. And if we don't want to give them the whole bag, we can just take out whatever we want. But that's kind of our process, and we've just been happy with it. This is the third season we've grown this way in these tubs and stored them in our refrigerator. So thanks for watching.